So today we're talking about a technique that's used by athletes to speed up their post-workout recovery. It's called contrast therapy, and there's a lot of research in relation to its ability to reduce inflammation, to reduce DOMS or delayed onset muscle soreness, and to reduce pain and stiffness. Today I'm going to show you how you can do it at home, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the science around why it works. Let's get started, shall we? Well, hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Project Joyful podcast. I'm your host, Tracy, your medical herbalist and high performance coach. So, hey, Project Joyful isn't just about being happy. It's about consciously creating a life you love. It's about remembering how to reconnect with your soul-centered joy. You know, that joy that comes from doing what you love, from living on purpose, and from being in a life that allows you to experience deep joy moment by moment. So hey, let's get started, shall we? I was reminded of the effectiveness of contrast therapy when a careless step on a hike the day before had resulted in me twisting my knee. It showed all the signs of an acute inflammation: red skin, it was hot to touch, it was swollen, and I was struggling to walk with it. Rather than reaching for the Nurofen, I decided to use contrast therapy. So what's contrast therapy? Well, it's the application of hot and then cold water to an affected area. And the contrast is in the change in temperature. You do it several times a day and you do it at a ratio of 3:1. So 1.5 minutes in water as hot as you can handle, and then 30 seconds in water as cold as you can tolerate. You know, that ocean swim where it hurts to get in the water. Yep, that cold. You can do this by alternating the sauna with the ice bath if you're at a spa, or if you have one at home. But personally, I just use the handheld attachment on my shower. So the tap is one of those mixer ones, so I can alternate it from hot to cold just by turning the dial. For a knee, it's super easy. You stand in the shower with your leg exposed, and you use the shower head to get the hot water over the affected area, and breathe. And then next comes the test of will as you turn the dial back to cold. And remember to breathe. Although usually there's a sharp intake of breath when the cold water first hits your limb. Now, if you don't have a flexible shower head, that's okay. Just fill 2 buckets of water, one with water as hot as you can tolerate and one with cold water. And then add some ice to the cold water to keep it chilled. You grab a mug out of the cupboard and you sit in the bath or the shower and you use the mug to pour the hot water on the affected area for 1.5 minutes. And then the 30 seconds of the cold water is poured over it with the cup, and you just keep repeating that for 7 times. Now, the return to hot water, it feels amazing. You'll notice a reduction in the swelling pretty quickly over 3 days, and I found that when I did it, after 3 days, my knee was pretty much back to its pre-hike form. I didn't need any painkillers, I didn't need any non-steroidal anti-inflammatories or NSAIDs, just the contrast therapy. So what else can contrast therapy be used for? Well, there's plenty of strong evidence supporting its use to reduce delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS, to speed up post-workout recovery, to reduce inflammation and swelling, and to reduce any stiffness or pain. So how does it work? Well, the hot and then the cold water causes the affected area to vasodilate and then vasoconstrict. And this encourages oxygenated blood into the area during the vasodilation, and then the fluid carrying the tissue waste is removed from the area during the vasoconstriction. And this combination of pumping fluid through the area improves healing, it improves repair, and it improves the limb's function and helps you to recover faster. Not only does it speed up recovery from soft tissue trauma, but research has also shown that it can reduce pain and increase movement in rheumatoid arthritis, in sprains and carpal tunnel syndrome, and in the peripheral effects of diabetes. So you always start with the hot and you always finish with the cold. And it doesn't really matter how many times you do it, as long as you're finishing on the cold. So while I've talked about contrast therapy in relation to an affected limb, such as my knee, contrast therapy can also be applied to the entire body. And the easiest way to do this is in the shower by finishing with just cold water. Now, it takes some resolve, I know, but the health benefits in terms of increased immune function and increased energy due to increased mitochondria function definitely make it worth considering leaning into that momentary shock that comes with a cold shower. So if you want to ease in, start with what's aching. Try the contrast therapy on it for 3 days and see how your body responds to it. And then consider reaching for those anti-inflammatories. Sending you lots of love. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for listening to today's podcast. Can I ask you a favour? If our conversation spoke to you today, could you please take a moment to leave a 5-star review? Your review will help people discover this podcast, and together we can create a world where there's even more love and more laughter. And if you want to hear more from the Project Joyful podcast, just click the subscribe button. Bye for now.